What I can't figure out is how they expanded the lead belt to include Oregon. I understand they even included Texas County where I live, and I'm not sure how big that expansion is, but there's no lead mining down there. I don't know how they did that. Another angle is Texas County has something we adopted called a land use plan, where we notified all our federal and state agencies that if they're discussing something that affects our county, we have to be involved in that discussion. I don't believe my commissioners were ever involved in any discussion on being included in the lead belt. So that's under the NEPA Act. That's federal. They have to do that. That's another angle. So I don't know, Mike. Where are you at, Mike Slack?
Here, it was Joanne Emerson who included us in the lead belt.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Joanne.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they've included what? Howe County, Oregon. What else? Texas.
Shannon, Carter, Texas, right? Yeah. No lead mining anywhere there.
And there's no lead mining.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's another huge issue. Senator Gary Romine, we need to get you up here and get you on deck. And
thank you very much for the opportunity to be here. And what I'm most proud of is to be in front of a crowd that believes in God and believes in country. This is very, very important that we maintain this standard, that we are a country that in God we trust is our foundation and a fundamental belief and right that we make this country as strong as we can. You know, I was going to say this tongue-in-cheek, but we've been at this for 200 years. You would think we'd have it right by now. But when you have somebody with the ultimate power, 1 year to go and nothing to lose, they abuse that power, and that's what we have found with this acquisition of the land. No proper notification was given, which is the most disconcerting part of all this. Losing the land is a big deal, but just the distrust it creates with the constituency in the state when someone does this without transparency, without information, without including all the stakeholders and all those involved. We've had folks in Fredericktown, we had folks in Iron County, we had folks in St. Francis County that were waiting for the day, ready to present proposals on how to spend the historical funds. Not a word, not a word. One of the first things that Dr. Cramp said to me when he was presiding commissioner, Romine, we need to get Bone Hole taken care of. Let me know so we can get that project going. We were all waiting for an opportunity to know when the circle funds were going to be made available. We had to find out about it by accident. A good friend that was inside said, you need to be at the meeting at Johnson Sheddings. I wasn't able to go. I wanted to make sure we had somebody there, so I sent my chief of staff down. And it's just one of those things that I am tremendously happy and excited that we did have representation, because once the ball got rolling, we realized the railroad this project was taking. It was going on a fast track, and we were behind. It is tremendously wrong that our governor has taken a step to spend monies on pet projects without properly notifying the people that were most affected. Because of that, we're behind. But we're not going to let ourselves be behind. I believe in states' rights. I believe that we as Missouri should be able to protect and operate and manage our own lands. So obviously there's a couple of bills we're having to respond to. We're having to make sure that there's more clear definition on how notification takes place. Right now, the legislature has to approve conveying or selling of land. But for some reason, we don't have it in the statute that we have to be involved in the acquisition of land. That will change. Every week, I spend time in the leadership meeting on the Senate side, and the President Pro Tem of the Senate says, Romine, where are we with this historical stuff? What can we do to help you get this moving along? We do have a supermajority in the House and the Senate, and Robert Ross's bill is going to give tremendous amount of support as we go through the committee and the Senate floor process. We are going to make sure there's an opportunity to sell those lands, and that money, one of the bills I have introduced sets up a committee that will house the money. It will not go back to DNR. It will go to a committee made up of folks from the region, so that when we get those monies back, we can use them for the purpose that they were appointed for or designed for. We're going to make sure those monies, that we're not going to just give the land away, but we want to have access to those funds. I guess what's frustrating is the lack of grassroots support. The commissioners from Oregon County weren't interested. None of the commissioners in the counties affecting this area was interested in that project. None of the elected state representatives or senators, Senator Cunningham, I went to him and I said, Senator, I hope you know that I'm going to have to oppose this acquisition. He just laughed and he said, we're opposed to it as well. Let's join forces and see what we can do to stop this. As Linda alluded to, Representative Black alluded to, the train had already left the station. We're still trying to find ways to have standing in court to sue DNR and the governor over these projects. It's going to be tough, but I am supporting everything she said. It's nice to have somebody on the House side, myself on the Senate side, and we can work together on these projects. Last year, we were able to pass Senate Bill 142, and this was taking a proactive, aggressive step that required the DNR, before they could implement a plan demanded to them by the EPA, as I see it. DNR should be a representative of Missouri, not an extension of the federal government and EPA. And that's been my goal for the last 2 years, is to make sure that we give DNR the right to protect Missouri. And so the bill passed with tremendous support. The governor vetoed the bill. So last September, I was able to rally my fellow legislators, and we overrode the governor's veto that requires DNR to present any plan before they give it to the EPA, has to be presented to the Missouri legislative body for full disclosure, for full opportunity for us to review and evaluate and put our handprint on that project. We are going to take control of Missouri stand, and the only way we can do that is our control of DNR and not let the EPA, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, U.S. Forestry, any of those bureaucracies control what happens in Missouri. I am very proud to have had the opportunity for the last 4 years to serve as your state senator. And I hope you know, if you haven't gotten my copies of my capital report I send out every week, let me know. I'll be happy to put you on the list. But most of all, it's not about passing bills in Jeff City. It's about protecting our citizens from overreaching government. The bureaucracy from Department of Revenue, Health and Human Services, any of the agencies in Missouri that I have direct contact with, you need to call me if you're having frustration in dealing with them, because that's what I feel like my most important job is when I'm in Jeff City. I really am excited to have the opportunity to be directly involved and be ahead of the curve when we got Senate Bill 142 passed last year. This year we have Senate Bill 858, which is dealing with the Clean Power Plan. The federal government is trying to put the coal plants out of business. They want to do wind and solar so that we can protect the global warming that's taking place, and which will ultimately raise everyone's electric bill by 200%. Passing 858, and it's on its way, will tell the DNR they have to suspend all activities implementing any plan to remove coal power plants at this time. The Supreme Court, I just truly been blessed because the Supreme Court just recently codified our efforts by saying that before any state has to abide by the EPA's rule on Clean Power Plan, that there has to be an implementation impact report, especially economic impact on what it will do to a particular state. And so, again, I have a great team. I have a great set of representatives, Representative Fitzwater, Representative Black, Representative Engler, those guys on that side, and Cunningham, and myself on the Senate side, Wallingford, Libla. We are making a team, and we are making a difference. We are trying to make sure that Missouri controls their own destiny. Thank you very much for that opportunity.
DNR's budget ever getting cut?
That's a good question. That is an avenue that we do have as legislators, is to look and evaluate their budgets. And Senator Schaefer is the Probst chair. He and I has had that conversation, and we will be having more conversation. That is an avenue that we do have control of the purse strings. It's hard to see out there.
Any other questions?
Thank you very much. You guys enjoy this day and just continue the fight. Your words are powerful. The citizenry coming up to Jeff City means a lot. A lot of guys send their lobbyists up there, and that's okay, but when we have citizens that come up for the various issues, you do have a positive impact, an effective impact on your legislative body. Please make the trip, make the phone calls, send the letters. I enjoy getting those. Thank you.